Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Jedi and Sith. I'm your host, the Grand Admiral, and in today's video, we're going to be going over Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Now, we're going to start off here with the kit reveal. We're then going to go over to the developer's insight and also go over the requirements for this event. So, for starters, Jedi Luke will be an attacker, light side leader, and Jedi. At the end of the video, I'm also going to have a couple comments because there's some things that I don't necessarily feel were done correctly within this kit. So actually, we'll start up here with the picture. He counters high speed based teams with his leadership ability, which I have read before, and it is pretty good. He also grants massive buffs to Jedi allies with Jedi's Will, and which we'll go over, and the suggested synergies are Hermit Yoda, General Kenobi, General Skywalker, and Grandmaster Yoda. I wish he had more probably synergy with like Old Ben. I understand the Hermit Yoda, that one's cool, and I wish he had the Rebel tag. I'm just going to say that now, and we'll go into it a little bit more at the end of the video. His first is the basic Prevailing Strike. It will dispel all buffs and then deal physical damage to that target enemy, reducing their critical damage by 10%, and that can stack. So if he attacks multiple times by the end of the encounter, you could potentially have negative 100% stacking. And then also, he after that will gain 10% max protection, and that can stack to 100% until the end of the counter. And to top it all off, it can't be countered. So he's going to reduce your crit damage, which hurts teams like Gas. They rely heavily on crit damage. It also will reduce and then increase his own defense and max protection. And then it can't be countered either, so that is going to be huge. His next counter reminds me in Battlefront 2. It's called the Stalwart Advance, a cooldown of 3. And this is its final text. Deal the physical damage to target enemy and call another target ally to assist. The enemy whose target is then inflicted with blind for 2 turns, which will be very helpful to countering Galactic Legends because then they miss an attack. Say Rey does her whirlwind, it's not going to hurt anyone because she's been blinded. I also see this helping with Gas and really anyone. Blind is very helpful. Let's keep going. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker gains Jedi's Will for 2 turns, which cannot be dispelled, copied, or prevented. So it's going to be a locked buff or potentially just like one of the blue icons. And if that other target ally is a Jedi who is not Old Republic, sorry Jedi Knight Revan teams, they also gain Jedi's Will for 2 turns. Jedi's Will gives them 100% counter chance, 25% offense, and 25% speed, and all attacks ignore defense. This is kind of like a Grandmaster Training or Bastila Shan's Battle Meditation, I feel, except souped up a lot more. I'm actually surprised there's not a Zeta, but still, that's pretty cool. His special 2, again, reminds me from Battlefront, Repulse. It has a cooldown of 5 and will inflict stun for 1 turn and vulnerable, which, remember from Poe's kit, means you're guaranteed the next time you attack that enemy to score a critical hit, so it's kind of the opposite of advantage. So he'll inflict stun, give them vulnerable for 2 turns, and all enemies lose 10% max health and protection, which will only stack to 50%. Which, 50%, that's kind of a low topping point, but he's still reducing your own health and protection and increasing his own defense. Up here, actually increases his own max protection. So he decreases your protection and then increases his own with his basic. So, and then a mass stun too, that is very helpful. Now the Repulse also on raid bosses works a little differently. It deals damage 3 times and then grants vulnerable for 2 turns. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he helps out in a Sith raid or stuff like that. And to top it all off, this is an irresistible stun and cannot be evaded. If I remember correctly, that means unless you have tenacity up, you're going to get stunned. Oops, skipped a little bit too far down, giving you a little bit of a preview, but his first unique is his Jedi Knight Resolve. Each time Jedi Knight Luke is damaged, he gains 5% turn meter and then 5% offense, which will stack to 25%. So he's gaining protection, he's gaining offense, and he's gaining turn meter. And then it reduces your own max health and protection as well. And then this will keep stacking until he uses Prevailing Strike, which, if I remember correctly, is his basic. Yes, it is. So his basic, until he uses his basic. And then when he attacks out of turn or is critically hit, he gains +2 speed, which will stack to a 20. So by the end of the encounter, he could have 20 extra speed. So if you mom for a high speed, he could be even faster by the end, which is pretty crazy. And then at the end of each other Jedi turn, excluding Old Republic Jedi, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker gains 10% turn meter. I'm guessing that's probably going to be the Zeta, but I cannot confirm that. That is just an assumption at the moment. Oh, and also, Luke is immune to stun and fear, so hopefully that means he won't get stunned by Galactic Legends. I'm thinking that's what that means. And then fear, no Darth Revan, no Bastila Shan, no Malik. Now his leader, still sends shivers down my spine. Either that or it's the wind. No, I'm just kidding, it's cold at my house right now, so. But the leader, again, is a Zeta, and its final text is all light side allies have 15% critical chance and critical damage, and is doubled for Jedi. So Jedi have 30. And then at the start of each encounter, Jedi Luke's turn, all enemies are reduced to his base speed. So at the start of each of JKL's turns, all enemies are reduced to his base speed. So I wonder if that means when he takes a turn, it drops, let's say his base speed's 100. So their speed drops to 100. But then if they take another turn, so like then they take their turn and they're set 100. Once they take their turn, I think that'll probably be like dispelled, and then they'll have their regular speed again until Luke takes another turn. That's what I'm thinking. I may be way off target, but we'll actually, when he comes out here shortly, we will actually see what that means. Now, let's keep going. So all enemies are reduced to his base speed until the end of the encounter. Oh, no, never mind. So once he takes his turn, they will no longer have their speed. Instead, they'll have Luke Skywalker's base speed. I wonder if that affects mods or not. I don't know. But their speed cannot be manipulated after their speed is set. And his base value is recorded at the start of the encounter before any buffs or debuffs are applied. This does not affect raid bosses and does not activate if the enemy side also has a similar ability. So if they have another Luke or a Galactic Legend. Oof. That like cuts half of his leadership right there. Let's keep going. Also at the start of all encounter, all Jedi allies, excluding Old Republic, gain the granted ability Heroes Arise. Heroes Arise dispels all debuffs on all allies, then calls all allies to assist, dealing 20% less damage, but all allies, excluding Old Republic, then recover 25% health and protection and gain Jedi Will for 2 turns. Then Jedi Knight Luke is granted 100% turn meter, and remember, Jedi's Will gives you 100% counter chance, 25% offense, and 25% speed, and all attacks ignore defense. So even though it's dealing 20% less damage, the next time they attack, it's going to do even more. So initial impressions, I like it. I think it stinks that there's no Rebel tag on this or any Rebel synergy really. I mean, it's all light side allies, and you can, it's just, Luke's a Rebel, but it seems like he's more of a Jedi, which will probably help on light side Geonosius territory battles, because I know you need multiple Jedi teams on that. Let's head over to the developer insights. So here in the dev insights, they welcome us as always, but here's some interesting. So the reason why this is tied to The Empire Strikes Back is because his journey through Empire Strikes Back eventually then leads him to be the Jedi Knight. And so they're going to have you do this with Commander Luke. So the basics are like Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker is a leader, a Jedi leader for light side. And his special 2 can stun the whole team and reduces their max. They're unique is his speed reduction, his basic attack reduces the critical damage, which actually, now that I think of it, I don't think has ever occurred before. Says the inspiration right here. The new event for Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker closely follows the story of Empire Strikes Back, includes some memorable confrontations on Hoth, Dagobah, and Cloud City. The designers rewatched the movie multiple times for inspiration, though we already were for the anniversary, to capture the most exciting combat moves. I don't think I ever saw Luke do that force push, though, in the movies, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no, I don't think that occurs anywhere. But, suggests some people, General Kenobi, yeah, he's helpful in everyone. Now, some facts that are helpful is when he attacks out of his turn and uses basic, does the offensive turn mirror from Jedi Knight's Resolve reset? No, it does not. Which I actually did have a question, and I was going to bring it up, but I then read this, so there you go. Those bonuses will only reset when he takes his turn. So when he takes his turn and attacks with his basic. If he's just attacking out of turn, it will not reset. Does Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker reduce the enemy's crit when attacking out of turn? Yes. Yes, he does. That is crazy because it seems like his kit's going to have a lot of attacking out turns, and if you have other Jedi in there who will call to assist, so I'm thinking like Ezra Bridger, you call Luke to assist because guess what? Ezra is a Jedi, so he'll work in there. Then he's going to reduce their crit damage. Also, can Heroes Arise be blocked by Billy Block? Yes, but the 10 turn cooldown, which I don't think I actually brought up. It has a 10 turn cooldown, but it's shared between all allies, so when they take a turn, they reduce it. So hypothetically, if all 5 allies take 2 turns, then you can reuse it. Now, why doesn't Jedi Knight Luke interact with Old Republic? Well, that's because balance issues, and they don't want that happening again. So, let's go see the requirements in The Journey Continues for Luke Skywalker. So I like this idea. It's not a hero's journey. It's a journey continues. So it's taking the Commander Luke event and saying, hey, we know you did that. Because if you think about it, A New Hope, like for the Commander Luke event, it's A New Hope. That's what the thing is. And you have all the New Hope characters, and it's that journey that then makes him that Commander Luke, who is then in The Empire Strikes Back. You then get Empire Strikes Back Luke, i.e. Commander Luke, and you're going to then continue that journey and then get Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. So, when is it going to happen? From June 18th to the 25th. You can take on the Empire on Hoth, defeat the greatest fears in Dagobah, and face your final test against your father on Cloud City to earn a 7-star Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. Thank goodness we don't have to save up our Get One currency, which, if you're wondering, that is the rewards you get from territory battles. Because, let's look at the required units. Oh yeah, that's right. Wampa, Hermit Yoda, all of who you need to get. And also, let's go through all of these. Commander Luke Skywalker, Rebel Officer Leia Organa, Captain Han, Wampa, Chewbacca, Legendary, so from the Bounty Hunter event, Darth Vader, C-3PO, Lando Calrissian, and Hermit Yoda. So, initial impressions, that's an interesting list. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly. It's still a cash grab, especially that Wampa and Hermit Yoda, and even Lando, I'd say. You know what? Everyone besides Commander Luke, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, C-3PO. So 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4 out of the 9. So 5 of them are a bit of a stretch. But Commander Luke Skywalker at Relic 3, that's going to be so helpful. Chewbacca at Relic 3, that's going to be helpful. Wampa, I've seen Wampa do some crazy things and crazy solos, especially with Hermit Yoda. And so if you have both of them at Relic 3, that's going to help. And C-3PO at Relic 3, that'll just help you in your gas event as well. So honestly, for the most part, those relics are pretty helpful. I honestly am close to getting Darth Vader to relic as well. I'm a huge Empire fan, hence the Grand Admiral title. My only relics right now are the Grand Admiral Thrawn and 5s for usefulness reasons in making the clone team even deadlier. Lando Calrissian and Rebel Officer Leia and Captain Han are really the only ones that kind of don't make sense in the terms of like relicking. Like, I would never relic those characters. I know that Urzatron, linked to his channel in the top right hand corner, uses Rebel Officer Leia Organa quite frequently, but I've never really seen much else use for her. So the relic level 3 as a minimum isn't bad, especially after the Galactic Legends, where you had to relic several characters who are absolute garbage. But that's not too bad. There is a ship event, which are all required at 7 stars, and you need any capital ship, any of them at all, from the worst to the best. You can put it in there. All you need are Han's Millennium Falcon and Wedge Antilles X-Wing. So from the looks of that, I'd say probably you would want an Akbar fleet. And the event description says that Jedi Luke's event will return in the future and will be later added permanently to the journey guide approximately a year after the release. Now, let's just go over some impressions that I have from all of this. So, first off, it sucks that he is not Rebel or synergizes with these Rebels that you're going to have to gear up. In terms of storyline, at first I was like, why are we getting Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker for Empire Strikes Back? That does not make sense. But when I think about it, like I said, to get Commander Luke, you had to go through the A New Hope journey. To get Jedi Luke, you have to go through the Empire Strikes Back journey. And a lot of people I've noticed are kind of complaining. I'm not complaining, but are frustrated because Jedi Knight Luke is the best character. Like, lore-wise, he is one of the best characters ever. And it doesn't appear that he's going to be the best character in the game. He's probably going to finish off those Padme teams and Darth Revans and Jedi Knight Revans that are still in the upper categories. But he's going to have a hard, I think he'll be about on level with Gas. But I am definitely thinking the Galactic Legends are still going to remain in that top category. So it's kind of annoying because Jedi Knight Luke is meant to be the best. However, if we follow that same logic that I just laid out, you follow A New Hope to get Commander, you follow Empire Strikes Back to get Jedi Knight, you follow Return of the Jedi, and then you get Galactic Legend Luke. That's what I think's going to happen, and then that might be the end of the galaxy of heroes. No, I'm kidding. But I think that's more likely the path that will happen. Otherwise, I like the kit. I think it's actually a decent I'm hesitant on free to play, but a decent free to play, it's in arm's reach for free to play players, especially if you've been playing a while. A lot of those required units are very helpful already, and so it shouldn't hurt too much to do it. I'm going to have to do a lot of farming, but it's honestly worth it because Jedi Knight Luke is awesome. And I want to know what you guys think of this. Leave a comment down in the description. If you agree with what my theory with the journey of Luke, leave me a like, consider subscribing, and as always, this has been the Grand Admiral, and end transmission.